Stencils. Here you're going to see two examples. They are hooked together. Things are cut away, but overall it should stay together. Here's an example of it sprayed. We are going to do screen printing, so it's going to be a smaller area. So we need to know what is the printable area. All right, the first step is we have to make a grid so that we can know what our printable area is before we can do our design. So with your ruler, you're going to make sure that the edge of your paper goes to 0 and make a mark on the 7. So you want to have 3 marks, 3 or more, so that you can draw a straight line. So we're going to do a 5 by 7. You're going to have 2 rectangles. So the next step is to put your ruler on the 0 and then on 11, which is the end of the paper. You're going to make a mark on the 5 and the 6 because you want 5 inches for both 5 by 7 rectangles, right? So making a mark on the 5 and 6 will just save you some time. They're both 5 inches apart. It's just with the ruler based on the edge of the paper, it goes really fast. Okay, so here are 2 5 by 7 rectangles. Now we're going to split and make it into the printable area. So putting your ruler, your 0 on the edge line and then the 5 on the side of the paper, you're going to make marks on the 1/2 inch and the 4.5 because you're going to have half marks all the way around the box. Okay, so here you see the rulers on the 0 and then you're going to mark it on the 6.5 so that you have 1/2 inch all the way around. So the inside is your printable area. So here you see a design that was already drawn, and here you go. So when you get your image, you're going to try to find your simple shapes, right? We did this when we were doing our object drawing. So with a colored pencil, you can just trace your simple shapes to try to help you. Here you can see that on this bee, the main part, or the body, there are 2 ovals that overlap a little bit. So when I start drawing, I want to make sure that I'm really careful about the ovals overlapping in the middle a little bit. So I'm going to use both of these pictures as reference, a stencil image of a bee and a regular bee. So when you do look up ideas, you do want to make sure that you type in stencil pattern so that you can, because we are making a stencil, so that you can kind of see the shape. So here you can see the overlap. I do need to know where the middle is. So if you're going to do a rose, you would type in a stencil image or stencil rose pattern, right? You can just type in stencil art, but it helps to be a little bit specific about what you want to have as your image. So here you can see the basic shape of the wings are triangles, but they are going to be rounded. So you can do both at once, but it does help to do the simple shapes. Here you can see I'm working on the legs. They're just simple rectangles, skinny rectangles that are kind of tubular a little bit. They're sort of in tubes. So while you're drawing, you do have to think about a stencil is connected. So you do have to keep in mind that once you start to, before you can print and before you can cut, you need to know what is going to stay and what is going to be cut away. So when you're drawing, it's a little bit easier just to draw it, but then you have to go back and you have to designate which part is going to be printed. So that's what this next step will be. Is you can see from the first drawing, I just filled in the areas that I wanted that I'm going to print. Okay, so hopefully this makes a lot of sense. You can see right there, I just erased because I want my stencil to stay together. So you want to make sure that you leave spaces in between your design so that the stencil can stay together. If you wanted something to be a full color, so here you see that I'm connecting the arms to the body. That's okay, and then you have your separate pieces off to the side. So it's really important that you are making a plan, and this is your plan to help you um, be better at the printmaking part. Okay, so you can make it more complicated. You do need to have 3 separate ideas, um, and then you're going to pick one that you want to print. Okay, so to save yourself some time, you can just go on the back and trace. The boxes, I am going to do the honeycomb at the end. Here you can see this deer. There's lots of spaces. I just did a geometric deer where it's still hooked together. And you can see lots of separate spaces to break up the ink.